Yes.
Awesome. Welcome to Mastodonnoises, where we don't even know what the heck we're named after.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
I don't know what a mastodon is.
It's the big mammoth thing.
Well, I know what it looks like, but like I've never heard of one until now.
Isn't it just another word for mammoth?
I have no idea.
I thought it was. Is it not?
I don't know.
Well, it's our mascot, right?
It's our mascot,
Yes.
yeah. So we'll figure it. Marty the Mastodon
Yes.
is his name. They're a lovely, lovely, lovely creature.
Yes.
You can catch them on the back of MacBoard T-shirts, and they have like a weird foam cutout of them that's like
Right.
huge.
And now they also have the plushie on the
They
school
do have
store.
the plushie in the bookstore, and
Yeah.
it's expensive, but it's lovely. It's
It
got a
is.
little blue bandana that has the Massart logo on it, which is very nice.
Yes, and if it's too expensive, which they're trying to bring the price down, I heard.
Oh,
But
really?
either way, we're all artists. Make it yourself. Like, not in a rude way,
Right.
just in a be creative.
Right. That's fun.
We should start with some like deadlines first. I think FAFSA is due March 1st. Get your FAFSA done, please. We all need financial aid, and financial aid is important. So don't forget to do your FAFSA.
The Black Artist Union is doing a gallery exhibit in the Student Life Gallery up on I believe this is on the second floor of Kennedy, from February 15th to the 25th. Cookies and Crafts will be from the 14th to the 16th in Kennedy. And I think that's all.
Yes,
I
also. The BIPOC Fund for seniors is also accepting applications. You have until, let's see, February 21st. So if you're a senior and if you're BIPOC, take advantage of that.
Nice. The Massart Creative Internship and Job Fair 2022 virtual will open next week at 9 a.m. on
Yes.
Valentine's Day, so February 14th, when this airs, I believe. So make sure to
Yes,
check that out. And if you're
definitely.
listening on Tuesday, I'm sorry.
Oh, but you can still sign up after Valentine's Day.
Okay.
You just, if you want one-on-ones with the employers, then that's when it gets competitive. It's like
Gotcha.
classes,
Yeah.
But they're doing 30 minutes group interviews, not interview, but like meetings, and then they're doing like a little 101 10-minute long conversation with recruiters. Please take advantage of that. It helps with jobs and internships, so do take advantage of that. Massart is doing a free booster clinic.
Awesome.
Yes, the day after Valentine's Day.
February 15th.
Exactly. So you get your love on Valentine's Day, you get your booster on the 15th.
From 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., and that will be in the DMC atrium.
Yes.
Wednesday, February 16th, the next day. So you get your love for Valentine's Day, you get boosted and fully vaxxed, and then the next day you get to learn about identity theft. February 16th, 2022, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., there will be an identity theft seminar.
Yes.
Look out for that. Look out for both the event and identity theft.
Yes. Be careful.
And then the next day, Thursday, February 17th, 22 at 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Get creative in the company of friends or make new ones. Hey, it's never too late. During this free drop-in figure drawing session featuring live music. Where's the rest of the text?
I don't know. I think I just cut it out just for the important information.
Awesome. Well, there's going to be live music. So.
But I think that's going to be also on the MAM Museum.
Oh, it's a MAM event?
I think it is,
Awesome.
yes.
So definitely follow the MAM Instagram account for all the information. And I believe we get the emails anyway
Yes.
from Lisa Tong.
For all of this, if you hear something and you don't know what's going on because we're speaking in a confusing way, just always go to the Massart website for events, and they'll have more information there. We're just here to remind you. We're not here to be clear and concise.
I think we're here for a little bit of both. I definitely think, but definitely to hear it more casual tone. An academic warning for the 11th. Wait.
That's when the professors have to submit it, I think.
Oh. Uh-oh.
So if you're a professor and you're listening to this, academic warnings are due the 11th, I think.
Which is tomorrow. And
but
that,
the students receive it on
the 18th of February. That will be
Yes.
Friday. Next Monday, not the Monday coming up, but Monday, February 21st, we have no classes.
President's Day.
President's Day. And there will be a workshop building on the knowledge presented in Gender Identity Part 1 through lecture, group discussion, and group activity. We will explore more about gender oppression, specifically cissexism within institutional systems and frameworks. We will discuss how cissexism shows up and how we can implement systematic changes within Massart to create more anti-oppressive and liberating space for students of all genders. Presented by Katiana Rodriguez, 2021, and Beverly Eugene Graham from the JED office. Register by Monday, February 14th. And questions submitted in advance are welcome and encouraged. And please visit. There's a link. Where'd you get that link from?
Just from the website.
From the website.
Yes.
Participate in Part 2, and that is Friday, February 18th, 2022, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
So the ceramics department is having a visiting artist lecture on Tuesday, February 15th, from 1:30 to 3 p.m. So if you're into ceramics or if you're into art, which you should be because you go to an art school, check that out.
Massart XOA is pleased to present our inaugural exhibit of 2022, the second in a series of graduate alumni curatorial projects, Triple Oscillation, on view from January 15th to March 6th, 2022. So it's already started, and you should definitely check it out. This exhibit is curated by Loretta Park, MFA 16, 3D Fine Arts.
She is awesome.
I had Loretta for time my spring semester, and it's still one of the best classes I've ever taken. It was very good, and definitely I've handled transitioning from in person to remote flawlessly, and it was great. Loretta's also involved with Compass, right?
It is, yeah.
Compass
That's where I met her.
Awesome.
I never got the chance to have a class with her, but Aaron can agree.
Yeah, Aaron said me too over the mic.
Does it get like recorded?
I don't know if they can. I guess
we'll find
hear
out.
him.
Some exciting things happening this weekend that you're not going to hear us talking. Well, we're going to talk about it right now, but like you're not going to be able to attend if you didn't attend because it's already going to be happening by the time you listen to this podcast. But laundry machines are being changed for the residents of Artist Res and Treehouse, and that is very exciting. For us who live in campus, you know that there has been some struggles with washing clothes and doing some laundry. So yes,
that has really been an effort by everyone on campus. Our secretary Link with the SGA has been in constant communication with the Capstone office and just talking with them and keeping them in check. The biggest thing that I can say from Capstone through talking with them, I had a meeting on Tuesday, is report all your issues.
Yes.
The importance of reporting issues, while it is kind of a pain to do, leaves a paper trail so that way Capstone can actually prove to the maintenance companies and prove to anyone who needs to come and fix it that these things are happening. If they have no reports, they have nothing to go off of. So please, if you see a washer broken, please report it. Still fill out your crowd comfort things. I know, and I've heard, and I'm very sorry that there has been a slowdown sometimes with crowd comfort.
But also for the laundry stuff, you go to the CSC laundry.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. Both. Like,
both.
I'm taking this time to announce that for both issues, like if the heating's too much, I've been hearing a lot of issues with the heating in Smith. Definitely continue to report them on crowd comfort so that way there's a paper trail, and when it comes time to getting things fixed, they actually have the proof, or if SGA needs to get involved, the proof is in writing and that we have it, and it can be pulled up. So I know how much it's important to do, and I'm sorry it took this long, and I'm sorry that these things continue to happen, but please
it is important to report them. Yes, mainly on crowd comfort as well. And cool. Definitely talk to your RA if you can as well, but definitely crowd comfort first, and if not, send an email to Capstone.
Send an email to Capstone. The people in that office are phenomenal, especially Franco. And Franco is amazing, former SGA student trustee, knows what it's like to live in that building, know what it's like to work with us and be in our community. But and also there will be someone, and this will have passed by the time I mention it, or maybe not. They are sending someone out to inspect the dryer vents in Smith because there have been issues with the dryers not drying properly. Okay. So they're sending someone out to clean them out. Either Smith residents should be getting an email from Capstone or Shabra by either if it hasn't happened already by the time you're listening to this on Monday, should be at this point this week.
Yeah.
To hear from them.
There's a skid trip going on
Really?
this weekend, I heard. Yeah, I was looking at the events, and apparently there's a Colleges of the Fenway skid trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the COF, getting involved with the COF is definitely
Yeah.
important. I've been privileged
Right.
to meet a lot of their presidents and get to know their communities, and we all want one thing, and it's for us to network and to meet new people. So it's a time to meet people outside of the Massart bubble. It's time to meet people outside of the Massart community, to get to know your fellow peers in the Fenway.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a great time. I mean, I always see people socializing at the block party and then at Fenway Frights. So skiing, I can't ski, so I will not be there.
Yes.
I am accident prone enough. I don't need to have like 2x4s on my feet going like 100 miles per hour down a mountain. That's the last thing I need.
Yes. Probably.
But also another important thing, if we missed an event, you can always email mastodonnoisespodcast@gmail.com. We record the podcasts a week in advance, a week or two in advance. Right now, they've been coming out weekly.
Yes.
And we'll make sure to communicate whether or not they'll be bi-weekly or weekly. So keep
Yes.
that in mind when communicating with us. But other than that, we get all of our stuff from emails, from SGA Minutes, as well as the Massart Presence page and
Yeah.
the events calendar. So
The same place you do, actually.
the same place, everyone can get it. We're just here to help communicate a little bit better. But the presence page, you can see individual clubs, and presence is also great to get involved, and you can
Right.
contact. Instead of in the past, you'd have to email either me or the secretary or another person in SGA or even Laura and say, hey, who's the rep for animation? How do I
Yeah.
get in contact with them? You can go on the presence page, find the Massart Animation SGA
Yes.
page, and you can see the main people, and you can contact them from there or send in a form, and they get it. So it's definitely a great way to help get involved on campus. But of course, if you need help with that, that's not to say you still shouldn't email us. It's just
Yeah.
a way that if you don't feel like emailing or calling, you can do it right from the comfort of your phone. Although I do recommend you do it from a laptop because the phone
Yeah.
UX is kind of interesting.
Yes.
So
Yeah, actually, if there's anyone that works on IT from Presence listening, which I don't think there will be, but please fix my account. That would be very helpful.
you can't. Was it for your residents? Or is it for the IDSGA page?
Just my account.
Oh, just your account. in
Yeah.
general. Oh, okay.
It
Oh,
says
that's
it's
fine.
inactive.
Oh, fun. I think
Yeah.
you can email Laura about that. And she should be able, because she's the one who was behind the whole presence thing, or at least communicated everything
Yes.
with me.
Yeah, she told me that it's an IT thing.
Okay.
So I need the IT people. But then again, I don't know how to reach out to them.
You
But
can always
anyways.
email Tech Central.
Oh, yes,
the
Tech
help
Central.
desk.
You know,
MSRT.edu.
Tech Central is a very useful resource. in
It
the
really
school.
is. My laptop has been breaking. It's broken twice in the last year. And going to Tech Central, while they couldn't fix it, because that's not really what they
Right,
do.
right.
The staff that over there on the third floor of tower, which is right in the print lab, has been phenomenal with communicating. They're not supposed to recommend models, but from their experience or what they know hardware wise, has been absolutely very nice.
Yeah. They like sneezed and said a model, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah, you should get this one. No. They're like, they've been great pointing me in directions of places to go if I need to go get help outside of the college.
yeah."
So they've been great.
I did have one thing to say. Oh, also, I think that boosters are due March 1st. You have to have them, right?
Right. I'm gonna let me check the COVID email.
Yes. Did I have anything else to say? I think I did. I just can't remember.
Oh, the housing lottery.
The housing lottery also is due around March, isn't it?
It is due, and I will let you know now.
Oh, if you're involved and you happen to apply to a leadership position, do make sure to follow up on emails that were sent, because I think there's like things that you have to do.
Like the MAC board, like the student leadership thing. Yes,
the
so
application. So
if you applied for RA, you should have gotten a separate email to figure out meeting time. Group interview day is not happening.
yes,
and
this
then-
Saturday.
Right, they're not doing that anymore. A new email actually just went out from Laura Flynn while we were recording with
Okay.
Mary, Dr. Grant, about a new spreadsheet to figure out.
Yes.
So if you have gotten in contact or have applied for that, check your email.
Yes.
And if not, if you applied for RA and didn't get an email, I believe from D, I would email D.
Yes.
And if you didn't get an email from Laura, email Laura.
Yes.
But so the housing lottery is up and running. Required online individual housing lottery application by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, March 2nd. And the optional group housing lottery application will also need to be submitted by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, March 2nd. Room selection times will be emailed out to students along with their lottery numbers on Tuesday, March 15th. There's a $240 housing deposit that will be added to student accounts to be able to be paid in student self-service shortly after the application deadline. Any student who does not pay their deposit before room selection will not be allowed to choose a space. Students who cannot attend the appropriate room selection night will need to have a proxy attend in their place. The proxy will need to submit a completed proxy form along with the housing deposit or deposit receipt for the student they are representing. The proxy form is available online and in the Student Development Office on the second floor of Kennedy. Medical accommodations, if you have a disability or condition that requires special living arrangements, or they require a meal plan accommodation, you must submit a completed medical request or meal plan accommodation request to Student Accessibility Services by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022. And you can read all about the rest of the email. It was on a Massart housing email sent on January 27th, and I believe that was sent to students who are on campus right now, and not students who will be applying. But
Right.
I could be wrong. It doesn't tell me who it goes to.
I see. Yeah, so keep it up. Keep doing art. For if you're ever hear us talking about interviewing someone during this part, even though we didn't get to the interview quite yet, it's because we recorded the interview before recording this. But tune in because the interview with President Grant is coming up next. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you enjoy listening to us talk. Because we're here for you to listen to and for you to enjoy. And if you're not having a good time and if you think we should change something about it, go to our Instagram. DM us. Say something.
Say it to our face.
Yeah. Don't hide it. Don't talk behind our back. Just tell us, okay? We're learning. We're trying. We're here for you. Just be honest.
Oh my God.
Otherwise, this relationship is not going to work.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Also, we are now available on iTunes and Spotify and all other third-party apps if you have Android that take the iTunes database, and who knows, maybe we'll get on Audible one day. We'll figure it out.
That could be fun.
I didn't realize Audible did podcasts until I got a notification. I was like, what do you know? That might be our next goal. But
And if you know any other platform that you'd like to have us on, let us know again on DMs on Instagram. Also, I think Spotify does like polls and you can ask questions on Spotify.
We can do that.
So we could try that afterwards. But I think this is pretty much it. Oh, we're officially SGA organization. We weren't before when the first episode came out, I think.
No, I think we were. I think we were.
But when we recorded the first episode, we weren't. And now we are officially SGA organization. And so that's exciting. That means we got funding from the school. So we can keep improving the experience for you. Be in touch with the school. Go to an SGA meeting on Wednesday at 1:30.
Yep, 1:30, and I usually cut it right before 3 because I have a 3 p.m. and a lot of other people do. They're on the opposite of governance weeks. Even if you don't sit on SGA, if you don't sit on SGA, you're not a part of a rep. You're not a rep. You can't vote.
Right.
But there's still you're still able to attend, and I believe they are on. It will be now in Kennedy 280.
Yeah.
But you can email any of the SGA accounts. SGA at massart.edu. I don't know anyone that has that account. I know it's around, but I don't know. But just email either the president, vice president, secretary, wherever you may have email for information on that. But for instance, when this airs on Monday, our full council will be this week.
Yeah.
So use that as a base. Sometimes it changes, but if you ever have any questions, just email one of us or Laura Flynn. Awesome.
That's it. Yes. Thank you for listening. And
let's go talk to
Mary.
President Grant.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Now it's time to stop.
Cool.
All right. We're recording. So yes, we have here with us the president herself, Mary Grant. Welcome. And thank you for joining us on our first real episode of the podcast. We're gonna be asking you about Massart, about yourself. But I wanted to start by asking, what did you have for breakfast today?
Well, thank you, Wheezy, and thank you, John. It is great to be here with the two of you. I'm delighted and honored to be your first guest, so thank you so much. For breakfast this morning, I had a bowl of cereal with some oat milk and blueberries. And followed by a very strong cup of coffee. So, sometimes the strong cup of coffee comes first, and then the breakfast. But this morning, I think that's what I had. But the coffee, very important. Yes.
Good.
And what did you have for breakfast?
I had some crackers and yogurt.
Okay.
Yes,
All
very, just what I had in my dorm. 'Cause
Yes.
I had to go to class. What about you, John?
What did I have? I had Life cereal with oat milk. 'Cause,
Okay.
see, my sister can't have dairy,
Okay.
so I've learned to love oat milk. I
Yeah.
can't have almond milk, so
Right.
it's like that's my only other
Oh,
alternative.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not bad. I actually enjoy it.
That's
But-
good.
But obviously by the name of the title we introduced you, you're the president of Massart. But like, if you could explain to people like what the president's job is, what you actually do. Like everyone knows you lead the campus and you're the big representative, but what you actually do like in your office.
Sure.
essentially.
It's, every day, I think for the president, it's different depending upon what's happening. But, the role of the president is to provide leadership, and I get to provide leadership to this incredible institution. And I get to work with all of you, an extraordinarily talented faculty and staff, and the surrounding community. So I think the role of the president is about being an advocate, an ambassador, a leader, decision maker, consensus builder, collaborator, good team player. But really, the main reason why I'm here is because of the incredible students at Massart. That's what we are all here for. And to be part of your experience is really just a privilege. But every day is truly different. I don't know, I may come in thinking one thing, and it could change depending upon what happens. And some days I get to do this, sit down with two great students like you and have a chance to have a conversation. So every day is a little different, and that makes it incredibly special.
That's awesome. I think that it's great to be able to see you around, and I feel like I see you around a lot just on campus. And in the past 2 years, all of us being far away, it's really nice to know that you're present in the actual school and being here on campus. But on that note, how long do you usually take to commute, and how long do you spend on traffic to get to work?
More than I'd care to admit. And I think that's, I am around on campus a lot, which makes this job even more fun. And getting to know people as we're beginning to return in greater numbers. And so that's really important. But it really depends, So some mornings traffic is horrible. Some mornings it's not. So I just come in either really early or a little bit later, leave late. And then some days I stay on campus so that I don't have to drive at all. So my commute is very short when that happens.
Good.
But it depends.
Yeah.
It really
I see.
depends.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting flashbacks from pretty much almost a year ago this month of the presidential search and interviewing you, and even interviewing you before it was released to the public who you were. And that was a privilege I got to have, and obviously we've been talking a lot from then, but I don't feel like I ever asked you the question of what attracted you to Massart? And I feel like we talked about it a little bit, but that was behind closed doors during that interview. But for everyone at home, when you got the job, or you got the job notice and saw that it was up for grabs, what attracted it to you?
Yeah, interesting question, because I didn't get the job notice. I wasn't looking to be, I think as I shared with you, John, in that conversation, I had been the chancellor at the University of North Carolina at Asheville. I had been president for 12 years at one of our other public institutions in Massachusetts. And I'm a product of public higher ed in Massachusetts, and I was doing some other things. And so I was really not looking to be a president again. I thought, I've done that. It's great work, really privileged work. And so I got a couple of phone calls about, Massart's, I didn't even know Massart was looking for a president. And so when I got the phone calls about, would you take a look at this? I took a look at it. And initially I thought, well, I'm not so sure. Not because of the mission of the school, but where I was at. Like, do I
Right.
really want to? Because you have to do it. You
Yeah.
have to be all in.
Yeah.
But then I thought more about where I was at in my personal and professional life. The fact that I am deeply committed to public higher education. The institutions I've led before have been in spaces and places that enabled the arts. So arts and culture have been a significant part of my life. I'm not a practicing artist, but I am a deep supporter and deeply committed. And I thought, if I'm going to do one more, this is the place to do it, because it's a mission-driven institution that has a distinct history, a long history, has changed lives, focuses on the creative sector and the leadership sector. It's just a very distinct institution that appealed to me. The size, the location. I was born minutes away from here, so Massachusetts, Boston is home for me. So I thought, let me take a look at it. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought, okay, this is even more interesting than I realized. And there's a great crew there, and I would get to do work with really wonderful people every day and students who are going out to change the world. So that's what attracted me. It was a process, and every step that I looked at it, and when I met people, when I met members of the search committee and others connected with the institution, I thought, these are the folks I get to do this work with, that I travel this journey with. That felt very rewarding and very encouraging, because you do it together, and it matters who you do it with. So I'm thrilled, and here I am.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
I think my next question would be, what is your favorite thing about Massart?
Well, two of them are sitting right in front of me. So thanks for the softball question, Lisa.
Right.
Now really the people of Massart, because everyone's different. Everyone brings a perspective and a passion and a curiosity and a talent. So that is what is so special and is so inspiring and so energizing. So really, the people of Massart. And then when I see what those people do every day, that's inspiring and energizing and exciting. So I come around corners, like right now, the senior thesis illustration show is up.
Right.
And if everybody gets a chance, walk around and look at that, because it is magnificent. When I came over here just a little while ago, the elevators on the third floor, have been turned into works of art. Beautiful, and that was done by Clint. And just, every corner there's a surprise, and that's what makes it so wonderful. But it's the people. It really is the people.
Yeah, I think that this year in particular is the first year that we're all kind of back, that we're allowed to be back. And I think there's a little bit, and that might be just my experience, but there's a bit of a renaissance of a renaissance of people wanting to be together, wanting to go to events and do things. And I think there's this huge desire of filling up the walls with art and really putting out shows and putting out work, because we spent so long far away and not being able to do that, not being able to be in touch and be inspired by each other. So I think that it's very, very exciting. And yeah,
I was going to say, because that was a big topic point when we had pizza with the president.
Right.
And students had said they wanted artwork on the walls, they wanted to paint, they wanted
Right.
more murals up,
Right.
and that was something that, being back on campus, not everyone's back, not every major's fully back, but that sense of community's building again, and it's the overall community. There's plenty of sub-communities, but the community at large.
It's so important when I think about what we've all been through. What the world has been through, what we've been through in our own communities, and it has affected everybody in different ways. And so I've been just really thinking, and I know, and what is inspiring about this community here is that we have to practice grace, because we never know what the experiences someone has been through. And we just know that the pandemic, the economic crisis, the racial pandemic has hit communities in different ways. And so the way I look at this is we show up, we do our best, we meet people where they are, and we figure out where we're going together. Particularly as we're in this time where we hope things are leveling off, but the strength of community is what keeps us all going. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think I loved your word renaissance, or this energy, this renewal as we're stepping back into it. And it's so important because we do our best work in community. And we've been able to do a lot with using technology to support community, to do creative work, to teach classes. And some of those best lessons we want to hang on to and figure out how we embed them. It's just so gratifying to see more and more people on campus. That's enriching and energizing, and I love the Renaissance word you used.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a little bit of like finding out again what's the culture of Massart. Because like I am a junior, and for me my first year was cut like towards the end, and I feel like I missed out on a lot of like the events, the things that happened. And now that we're back as a junior, so as an upperclassman, you know, being able to bring those back, not only for myself, but also for like the new incoming students, so they can have that fully like Massart experience. And I found that sometimes it can be difficult. Not so much that people don't want to do it, but like to figuring out, you know, and looking to seniors and people who have been here longer to learn about it. And it's just, I don't know, I've been having a great year so far with that.
Good. That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And you know, we get to all touch and build and shape the culture too.
Yes.
And you're right. It's been a big shift, and there are some of you who've had a very different starting experience. And so you're going to always have a slightly different experience, but that doesn't mean that it's, you know, better or worse. It's your experience.
Yes.
And we have to learn from all these things.
Right. Speaking of learning, I feel like I learn something new every day. And I know you've only been here for less than a year, but with between the search and everything, it feels like you've been here forever. I feel like that was 10 years ago. What is one surprising thing you've learned about Massart, either through the search or through on the job, or just, you know, your own life, like something that shocked you?
Well, you know, it is really interesting. There are times where I feel like I've been here much longer, and it's been about 7 months, you know, 6.5, 7 months. It's the impact of Massart. You know, we will be 150 years old in 2023. And when you think about when the Commonwealth of Massachusetts determined 150 years ago that we needed a school like Massart that would prepare a generation, these are probably not the words that they used, of innovators for that revolution, for the Industrial Revolution, how are we still preparing innovators, influencers, creative types for this innovation revolution, the creative economy? And so the impact of this institution over 150 years, quantifying that, I think, would be profound, because I'm meeting graduates of this institution who are doing work in every sector, at every level, making a significant difference, and they have for 150 years more. My aunt is a graduate of Massart. She just turned 90 this past weekend.
Wow.
And so she graduated from here. It will be 70 years ago that she graduated when we hit 2023.
That's so cool.
And so when I think about what her experience was like, she came here to be an art teacher. And we are still producing art teachers. And thank goodness we are. So I think it's the impact.
Yeah.
And really understanding it. And we need others to more fully understand the impact.
Right.
And that's part of the job of president, is to grab that information and tell those stories and continue to build that profile so others understand the incredible impact that this institution has had and will most certainly continue to have.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. I mean, I think art ed is actually one of the oldest majors. Actually, if you enter the DMC and you're heading towards Tower on that ramp, there's a beautiful decal, and it has you on it. It's saying Mary Grant President. But also, if you look, there's actually a timeline of when majors were introduced. And our major wasn't recognized till 60 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it was founded on those ideals. But fashion design hit 100, I think, a few years back. 100. Fashion design is one of the oldest ones. Communication design's been in and out. It was there, then it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just, it's definitely interesting to see.
Oh, it's amazing. You know, and I think about Massart as a school that is producing leaders in their field. You know, so, and it's at every level. You know, from fine arts work to attorneys, to architects, to teachers, to innovators to, you name it. Because I'm listening all the time now with an ear tuned for Massart, I am hearing about alumni everywhere. And it's so encouraging and so inspiring and such an opportunity, because we need to tell this story better, more. And when we think we're done telling it, we have to tell it again, and it helps build the case for support for this institution, because this institution and our students deserve that support, because you go out and make such a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree. On that note, so how does the work of those students being made, and I think you spoke on that a little bit, but how does that inspire you or like affect you personally in your day-to-day life?
Sure. Well, when I think right as the semester was ending in the fall, so right as we were breaking in December, there were a couple of exhibits up where I think students were, as most of us have been, but having the ability to express it in different ways to help us see it more, were reflections on what the pandemic has meant or done, or how it's shaped our thinking. And I think seeing that work reveals an insight into how people are doing with it, or how we were sense-making of this, if we can. And so I just found myself on several occasions as I'd be wandering about, which I do. You guys have run into me as I'm doing my wandering. Really just taking that pause and thinking, that is a critical part of the work that we do. It's telling a story in different mediums of what's happening at a period of time in a culture or a country or a society's history. And so just seeing the poignancy of that representation through video, through drawing, through sculpture, through framing it in many different ways about how this time is impacting. So that struck me, because I think that's so much a part of the importance of creative expression, because then it draws us in for conversations, makes us say, so how are we doing? How are you doing? Tell me more about this. And so I just think there have been moments where I've just really been reminded of the importance of the creative ability to bring communities together, not only just around joyous things, but around really challenging things that we need to talk about. We need to do better. And I believe artists and creatives and designers lead the way on that. So that message, being reminded of that through the work and the lens of our students, and through the work that I've seen that our faculty and our staff are doing. It's just extraordinary, and it's powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. So the next question is, who are you? Obviously, anyone who was involved with the search got to know who you were. I mean, I think we had 3 or 4 interviews together. I hosted the student session with you back in April, March. And the community's gotten to know you, and we've sort of tried to introduce you, but it's been more of like, I feel like a professional setting, more of like your resume almost. But like, who are you as a person? Like, if there was one thing that the students could know about you, what would that be essentially?
Just one thing?
Well, as many as you want.
Just one thing. Well, I'm a Red Sox fan. That's important. John and I know that. We've been to a baseball game together.
We did the COF game. It was
right.
Great. We got to stand on the field.
I know. That was pretty cool. But so, no, I'm a Massachusetts native. I'm one of 6 kids. My dad was an auto mechanic. Public higher ed changed my life. I was able to go to an excellent 4-year institution in Massachusetts for my baccalaureate degree. I went to UMass Boston for my master's degree. I did my doctorate at Brandeis University. But I am a product of Massachusetts public higher education. And so for me, that is personal. It defines a great deal of who I am, and I'm extraordinarily proud of that. Because without access to these incredible institutions, I wouldn't be sitting here having this great conversation with the two of you today.
Yeah.
So, I am, I never forget who I am or where I come from. I don't confuse the role that I occupy, which is a privileged role, with the person that I am. I have a great family, wonderful friends, a couple of goofy dogs that are comic relief. Yes. So, and I am really fortunate because I know even though I come from humble beginnings, I recognize the privilege that I have. And so I don't lose sight of that. I probably, stay up don't get enough sleep, stay up late, sometimes get up early. But, I think all in all, John, I like to think of myself as somebody who has my 2 feet on the ground, the ability to imagine and dream and create and execute and get things done and do it with others.
Yeah.
So, but no, was born in Dorchester, Massachusetts. So every once in a while, when I'm overtired, my Boston accent really, really comes out. And even though I'm from Boston, I probably like Starbucks better than Dunkies. I'm just putting that out there. So, but and I love to spend time getting to know all of you. So that's all. I'm a middle child, so I've got brothers and sisters, and lots of great nieces and nephews, and feel very fortunate to be in this space, in this place, in this time with all of you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And likewise, we're lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
agree.
Lucky to be here.
I'm gonna have to say this, but although you might have a lot of disagreements, I also agree. Starbucks is better than Dunkin'.
Oh, see, Wheezy, I knew you from the moment I met you. I was like, she's my people.
That's fine. It's understandable.
Yeah,
But I'm also not from Massachusetts.
That's
so,
all.
so
All
maybe,
right,
so
okay.
maybe that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in North Carolina for a few years, and that is not Dunkies country. So
No.
it was just.
Really?
So, but that was okay by me. I mean, and I have, these little idiosyncrasies, and so thank you.
Yeah.
That's just great. We'll have to go for a coffee.
Yes,
Yes.
not on Dunkin'.
Yeah.
We didn't go.
So.
Yeah. All right.
But
And I drink iced coffee in the winter, so that's a New
I'm
England
with
thing,
you.
right?
I
So-
walked in the hailstorm to Dunks on Tremont Street. I got
Okay.
a nice
Oh,
coffee.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
yeah, but I think that might just be New Englanders.
Oh, it's
maybe.
definitely a New England
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
I
don't
agree.
know. In Brazil, we mostly only have hot coffee, hot
Okay.
black coffee.
Okay.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
but some people, if they can, they'll like get excited and make it iced, but mostly not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also just wanted to mention that it's really nice. I think I really appreciate just in general you, but I think I can tell and feel that like your experience growing up and learning from those institutions at Massachusetts can kind of like be seen through the way you lead, just from what I've been seeing in the past semester or so. Because I feel like when I first got into college, I could hear other people talking about their experience, and they thought it was like a big deal, kind of like to even see the president of the school, and when they did, it was always kind of like this very kind of fancy, professional, like impersonal kind of meeting. And I just feel like I just see you often and you just talk to people, and I think one of the very good things is like you remembered people's names, and I think that means a lot for all of us. We're not such a big school, but we're fairly there's quite a lot of people, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really is reflecting on the school, the way you're leading, and it's very welcoming, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it definitely goes a long way, and it's definitely noticed. I mean, like we talked about it in the interviews, and like I even told the story of how in my first year, I wanted to drop out. I couldn't handle it. I didn't think anyone really cared, or and I just didn't think it was for me. And then I ran into the president in my first year, David P. Nelson, and we had a conversation on the train, and it was just surreal to see that. Like you hear the president in like a higher power, and it's just like, is this guy asking me about my life on the train when he can just stand there and I won't say a word, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, it was surreal, and it was something that was like, all right, this is what this place is.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, that was one of the things that kept me here, it was like people do care.
Yeah.
And having an open door to the president's office and being like willing to talk to students, I think is definitely, I know we've had issues with the washers, and as soon as you got an email from SGA, you were on top of them, trying to get them replaced, and now we're getting, and by the time this airs, they'll have been replaced, but Treehouse and Artist Residents are getting all new washers.
Yeah,
And
that's
love
great.
that.
Good. Well, it's the size of the place lends itself to really getting to know one another. everybody in every way, but when you lose something in community if you don't take that time to get to know one another, to learn each other's stories, like what brought you here and what keeps you here, what's going on in your life, is there or just even understanding if somebody's been through a hard time, like how do you help? And we don't know that if we don't take the time to stop and ask how somebody's doing, and to have those conversations. It enriches my day, quite honestly. When I come back from like sort of doing a little walk around and some days the day flies by and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even stood up. And that's not a good day. A good day is when I get a chance to get out and about, and whether I'm going to a department meeting to meet faculty or to go to a staff session like I just came from with the Administration and Finance Division, or to sit with students either over coffee in the dining hall, or like with the two of you today, or just running into you. And the first time we had our conversation, because that's what makes the work rich. That's why you do it, and we lose something if we don't take that time to get to know one another. And we need to be building up the bank filled with dividends of humanity. The world has suffered a great deal on so many fronts in the last several years, and we have to restore it. We need to be practicing kindness, practicing patience, holding people accountable, and making sure we're not losing touch with what's going on in our community, our country, our democracy. There's a lot at stake. Getting to know all of you and what you care about and what you're doing is the hopeful part of the work, because you're paying attention. You know that there is a lot of challenges, and I've met so many students who want to make a difference, and it's awesome. It's energizing. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's also very empowering for the students themselves. I think that allows them to realize and feel like they can voice what they're thinking, and that they like together they have the power to make a difference. Because again, like I feel like a lot of school students feel like they don't have any kind of power into doing things, and I feel like art students, and again, that's my experience from being in art school, but like feel like art students are like generally very passionate about the things that they believe in, and knowing that you listen to just them talking empowers them to go out and make sure they're being heard by whoever needs to hear them.
That's right.
So
that's
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's we should be listening, and we have a responsibility to listen, and then we have a responsibility to work together to make the changes for the improvement. And even the communication. John and I were having a conversation about this yesterday, that sometimes things don't go as planned or as fast, or there's reason. We have to be respectful and communicate, because people are pretty smart. They understand. Just tell me what's going on. And so I think that that's also it reminds us too that we have that responsibility to share what we know, even when we may not have all the answers, because who does have all the answers? But we can always be improving how we're talking about it and engaging and listening, because good ideas come from every place,
True. I think finally, I think this is the last question written here, but we can keep talking. But I see that you match the school very well with the way you lead, the way you run the school. But what about art? Have you what kind of art things have you done? Like, have you ever tapped into painting or any other kind of artistic or creative endeavors?
Sure. So a long time ago, I did dabble in painting and a little bit of pottery. So I would love to be able to get back to that at some point. Drawing. I used to do a lot of drawing. I would keep a sketch pad with me and just kind of, what was I seeing, and drawing it down, kind of helped me to capture the moments. So, definitely have that desire. And so at some point, I'd love to be able to remind myself that within me is that talent too. I wouldn't, I see extraordinary talent around me. Maybe that will inspire me to elevate it. But I think that, for me, it's also about, I'm on the board for the Norman Rockwell Museum in the western part of the state. And when Mass MoCA was in its early stages, I was on a community board of advisors there. So Mass MoCA is the was originally the largest physical museum of contemporary art in the country. It's in North Adams, Massachusetts. So having been a supporter and patron of the arts for many years, and I have friends who are artists. I have a painting that was named for me.
Okay.
That was done by the artist Stephen Hannock, who is an incredible, extraordinary artist. And when we were opening a building at my former institution, Stephen did a painting that he gave as a gift for the opening of this building. And the morning we unveiled it, he had revealed the name of the painting, and it was just very sweet and very moving, and blew me away. So, I've traveled in the world of the arts, and which is why I'm so glad the travels brought me here, because I get to be in I get to be in the center of it, the heart of where we're producing and supporting, artists, innovators, designers. So that's why it also feels like such a great place to be.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and if anybody has any questions or concerns ways to get in contact with your office or even just talk with you, what's the best way to
the best way is to just call the office, or we have a president's office at Massart email account, which Robert Chambers, who's part of my team, Hannah Wote, who's part of my team, they always know how to track me down. You can send me an email. We're here. And as we keep rolling back into getting more people on campus and we're feeling more comfortable, we will be doing, I'm hoping this year we can squeeze a few in, but certainly next year, open hours in the president's office so people can just come on up, we're going to be doing, I think we've got coffee coming up. And
we got pizza with the president on,
I
don't know if it's been officially announced, but February 22nd.
Yes.
And I'm going to look at do you remember the time? I don't know.
We're going to do coffee one afternoon in the DMC and then pizza some other time. So just keeping even those ways, but if, but seriously, if there's something that's, and one of the things I'll do, Weezy, when I hear from a student or a member of the community with a concern or an issue, the president doesn't, I don't work alone, I work with a team, and that team is all over the college, in departments and the provost office and A&F. And so one of the best things that we can do is get people into the right hands, because often people will end up in the president's office because they're feeling frustrated, or they're feeling like I don't know where to go, so I'm going to just start here, which is fabulous. And then what we can do well is get you into the right hands, and then follow up and say, okay, how did that turn out?
Yeah.
But the point is to keep empowering others to fix issues or create opportunities, and not have that be seen as the work of the president's office alone. But we're a good place to start if you're stuck, and then our job is to get you into the right hands so that the issue, the concern, can be addressed by the people empowered to do it.
Yeah.
And then we can help. And if folks who are trying to solve a problem get stuck, we can help with that too. But people, never hesitate to reach out. But there's a great team in the president's office, and they love hearing from students and love to be able to help solve problems.
Yeah.
And I think every department, student development, academic affairs, everybody wants to figure out how to make it the best experience possible.
Yeah. I think that you're speaking on pretty much the very reason why we made the podcast. We wanted students to know that, beyond your professors and department people, there's a whole other side of people who are in the I don't know how to say that word.
Administration.
Yes, side of the school that really are there to help you and support you, and they're there for you. You just have to reach out, and I feel like you mentioned yourself, it's a place to start, even if you're not specifically the one that can help them directly, leading them to the place. I think that also as an RA, I can relate to that a little bit. A lot of times students just reach out to me for questions and things that I don't know how to help them, and all I can do is lead them to the right direction and check in afterwards. And most of the time that's the best solution.
That's
when
right.
it worked.
And we'll always say, let us know how it turns out, because we want to know, was that the right, or what else might need to be tackled. So it's, we're really, I think, I see that all over campus, individuals who are just saying, oh, let me see if I can help you with that. And so sometimes I would just really encourage students, in particular, if you're stuck on something, or you need some help, or you're feeling like you're carrying a weight, ask for help.
Yeah.
We've got services and supports across the entire institution, And sometimes it's just, you just don't know where to start. But the best way to start is to go to somebody, you
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
you know, SGA, RAs, and just say, I could use a hand. And
Yeah.
then even you're part of that team of pointing people in the right direction. So, and that comes back to where we started the conversation, is that we're part of a community.
Yeah.
And if we remind ourselves of that and we do that work together, it's about taking care of the community, not,
Yeah.
you know, not fixing problems. It's about investing in the community.
I agree.
Awesome.
Yes.
You have anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
We touched upon everything we want to talk about.
Yeah. Anything else you want to plug,
Yeah.
or any events or ideas or something you just want to say to sort of wrap up the episode?
Sure. Well, thank you for this. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. And I would just encourage students to, you know, because there's a lot of information that gets shared. Try to look at it, you know, try to absorb it, try to go to other things, you know,
Yeah.
because I know everyone's busy and they're stretched and they're stressed. You get enriched by the institution when you have a chance to check out something that's happening maybe outside your major, outside your department. So push yourself out of your comfort zone, you know, see if you can take a class in another major. If MAM is doing something, go to MAM, participate in it. That's part of your experience.
Yeah.
You have access to other organizations right around here, world-class organizations like the Gardner, the MFA. Check those places out. Use Boston as your neighborhood and get to know the neighborhoods. We are sitting in an extraordinarily rich community of Mission Hill, and there's, you know, everywhere you walk there's art. Get involved with the community-based programming, the Center for Art and Community Partnerships, which is doing extraordinary work in the community. So all of that is here. And I know everyone is like, we're busy. Yes, man, we are busy. We have so much, though, that can enrich that. So finding that time to take a breath, to participate in something else, because the experience goes by so fast. You know, even in the midst of a pandemic, and as we move through it, in the blink of an eye, your time goes by. And so if there are other things you can figure out how to take part in while you're here, do that. And the other thing I would say is that along the way, if anybody needs help and to support you with the many challenges, never hesitate to reach out and ask for help, because I have also seen how many times the gracious community that we're in extends a hand to give that help back. So take care of yourselves, enjoy the experience, get to know the people who are around you, and when you can give help, give it, and when you need it, ask for it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
We
you, Mary.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much
Yes.
for all your wisdom and for joining us on this on our first episode. And
Yeah.
just kicking it
Wow.
off strong.
This is great, you know. It's so great. We get to be the first.
I know.
Yes. If it weren't for you, the podcast would probably not be happening right now. When I decided that I wanted to make a podcast, the first thing I did was reach out to your office, because I knew that if I made an appointment with you to interview you, I would not back down on the podcast, because what I was going to say to the president, oh, sorry, I didn't do the podcast. So I appreciate you helping me get this done, and it's going to be exciting. Yes.
Well, Weezy, had I known I was such a motivating force, but no, that's great. That's great. And good for you, because, you know, you started something.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. And you got a great partner. You guys make a nice team on this, but good for you, Weezy, for having an idea and saying, I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you, and I'm delighted to have been your first guest, because now I know the bar will just keep going up, so I'm glad that I got in here at the very start of it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
All right, keep up the great work.